Boom. All right, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to talk to you guys about zigging when they zag, going against the grain, being a lion amongst sheep. There are plenty of analogies for this concept, but ultimately, all of these tie back into what I want to be the primary focus of today's video, and that is market psychology and or investor psychology. All right, this video may seem a bit random, you guys, but this has been something that's been at the top of mind for me personally over the past couple of days, over the past few trading sessions, and I do have a few examples on the charts that I want to share with you guys, talking about examples of where I've zigged when others have zagged and trying to rationalize my take, my perspective on market psychology as we go through the charts. Okay, just talking some macro again, you guys. It's a pretty crazy time in terms of macroeconomics, and of course, what's going on everywhere does impact what's going on in the US and the US equity markets. So got to tie in some macro into this one as well. 3 days in a row going for the hat trick. But again, this is just a fun one, you guys. May seem a little random. The names we're looking over today are a bit random, but hopefully they make sense as we actually dive into them. Okay, so let's do exactly that. As always, we'll go over some of the names and topics we'll be discussing today, and then we'll dive into each one individually. Trading view, technicals, price targets on the following. Kicking it off with the good old S&P again, you guys. Pretty much the sum of the US equity markets on one chart, the S&P 500 or the SPY ETF. After the SPY, we are actually going to be taking a look at the VIXY. This is an ETF that trades with the VIX or the CBOE volatility index, inversely correlated to the S&P 500 directly. So S&P goes up, VIXY goes down like it did today, and vice versa like it did a couple of days ago. Okay, so as its name states, it is a volatility-based ETF. Take a look at the VIXY, you guys. This is a very good example. I got the lightning bolt right there. It all kind of ties in. Did not float my face. It's been a while since we've done that. Getting sloppy. But again, you guys, talking about the VIXY, this is a very good example, especially as of late when it comes to zigging when they zag. And I do want to talk to you guys about what is currently one of my favorite positions or my favorite plays in the entire market at the moment, considering, again, the macro is pretty crazy. We're going through volatile times, and VIXY is a volatility-based ETF. So SPY and VIXY, kick it off with the macro, and then I want to talk about Root. I see a lot of you guys asking about Root. Shout out the newsletter after this. You guys know the drill there. But Root is looking pretty good right now. I do want to talk to you guys about dip buying as well, where I see opportunities in the market when there is greater market turmoil. Root is one of those plays, and honestly, Root just looks really good at the moment, so I do want to share with you guys my thoughts on Root. Know a lot of you guys are following that at the moment as well along with me, so got to keep you guys posted on that one. And then we'll close it out with good old Lucid Motors, or LCID. This stock has been absolutely ripping. This stock on Monday, as the entirety of the market's tanked, I don't think there was a single green name on the watch list aside from VIXY and UVXY, which is another volatility-based ETF, was Lucid. So legit, Lucid was one of the only green names, and in a pretty significant way in the entire equity market on Monday. And it's been running, but it did correct today, and this is another good example, considering I just took some profits from my position yesterday after seeing its run up, about zigging when they zag and just understanding when things get a little overbought, oversold, all that good stuff. Okay, and again, doing my best to tie all of this back into my perception, my opinion around market psychology and investor sentiment. Psychology, it all plays into the same thing. Okay, so those are the names we'll be discussing, but because this is such relevant news at the moment, we got to kick off the video by reading through this. Federal Reserve holds interest rates steady, says tapering of bond buying coming soon. Okay, so this is in terms of maybe the global financial markets, the biggest news of the day, of course. Everyone's been waiting with bated breath on what Mr. JP, Jerome Powell, has been waiting to say, and that just happened. So we will go over this. Again, you guys, this is about as macro as it gets. I guess this and the evergrande situation are probably the biggest macro tornadoes. I shouldn't say tornadoes, but biggest macro headlines that are at play right now. So we will cover this, the evergrande situation. Maybe we'll cover it in the Waves Weekly this weekend or something like that. But again, you guys, times are a little sketchy, but that's okay if you know how to zig when they zag. Okay, so before we get to reading this article, I will, as always, ask you guys to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it today, or If you agree with my sentiment, hey, if you're watching right now, if you disagree, that's fine. Please give the video a like. I mean, give it a dislike if you want. It really doesn't matter much to me. But give the video a like or dislike. Comment down below why you agree or disagree. Subscribe to the channel if you want to catch more content like this, of course. And if you want to know exactly how I'm hedging my portfolio at the moment, again, VIXY consumes a very significant amount of my portfolio, and certain put options plays do as well. Because, again, I'm waiting for more downside. We'll talk about that once we dive into the charts. And along with Root, if you guys want daily updates on Root, Bitcoin, some Bitcoin miners, EV plays, etc., check out the complete portfolio daily newsletter. First link down below. That is exactly as it states. It is a complete breakdown. My entire portfolio, all of my call options, put options, stock positions, cryptocurrency positions that I do update every single trading day during market hours. And along with every update, I send out a complimentary email newsletter explaining my thoughts, rationalizing my trades, and just letting you guys know anything that I believe is important at the time of the trading day. Because things, again, it's been a roller coaster lately. It's been fun though. Waves fam, we thrive in volatility, okay? So, again, first link down below, 15 bucks a month, 40 bucks every 3 months. Do my best to make that worth your hard-earned money. So I appreciate it a lot if you guys check that out. I'm biased, but I feel it's super worth it. But if not, no worries at all. I appreciate you watching right now. Let's get into reading this. So again, Fed Reserve, big moves today. Not really though, kind of about exactly what every single analyst expected. So that'll tie back in once again to market psychology as we hop in the S&P. So key points, the Fed kept benchmark interest rates anchored near zero. Officials indicated they expect to begin reducing monthly asset purchases soon, but did not say when. I mean, it's about as vague as it gets, right? Economic projections point to slower overall growth this year, but higher inflation than previously projected. The Federal Reserve on Wednesday held benchmark interest rates near zero, but indicated that rate hikes could be coming sooner than expected, and it significantly cut its economic outlook for this year. Along with those largely expected moves, officials on the Policymaking Federal Open Market Committee indicated they will start pulling back on some of the stimulus the central bank has been providing during the financial crisis. There was no specific indication, though, as to when that might happen. Again, pretty vague here. Nothing really out of what anyone, or most, I shouldn't say anyone, but most analysts, if you guys read any analyst opinions on this, any competent analyst opinions, they pretty much all said exactly what was going to happen. Quote, if the progress continues broadly as expected, the committee judges that a moderation in the pace of asset purchases may be soon warranted. The FOMC's post-meeting statement said, respondents to a recent CNBC survey said they expect tapering of bond purchases to be announced in November and begin in December. So that's a little more specific, you guys. That's also was what impressively a lot of analyst notes that I read on kind of just what they were expecting from this said, and I do like how that's specific, and this ties in right here to kind of what I was talking about honestly in the newsletter this morning, is that the market is very good at pricing things in. Like, the market is great at pricing things in. A good example of that is Tesla. Okay, this might stir the pot a little bit, but Tesla pricing things in ahead of time. Tesla has a crazy market cap. Tesla has a PE ratio, or a price to earnings ratio, which is a historical indicator of fair value in a company. What is value anymore? I don't know. But again, Tesla, people are like, oh, they're not a car company, they're an energy company, they're an innovation company, they're an AI company, etc., etc. But that's like a decade down the road. So the market has already priced in Tesla. If Tesla perfectly executes on everything they plan to execute on for the next 10 years, that market cap is more justifiable from a historical PE ratio if they execute exactly as they should and no curveballs are thrown. The current market cap is pretty much awarding them that trophy, okay? Is 10 years from now performing exceptionally well without flaw. That is pretty much what Tesla's current market cap reflects today, okay? So the market, and again, I love Tesla as a company, Elon Musk is the man, whatever, but that's just the example I'm choosing to use in terms of how the market and investors do price things in ahead of time, okay? The markets, although, options are technically futures, but pretty much the entire market is a futures market when you think about it, okay? Especially in 2021, especially in this current retail infested environment, okay? So keep that in mind as well, you guys. Let's keep on reading through this. I have a couple paragraphs left here. I think we're pretty much done with this. Powell said the Fed is getting closer to achieving its goals on substantial further progress on inflation and employment. For inflation, we appear to have achieved more than significant progress. Substantial further progress more than significant progress, substantial further progress. That sounds a little Trumpy the way that sentence is structured. That part of the test is achieved in my view and the view of many others. He said, quote, my own view is a test for substantial further progress on employment is all but met, Powell added. And this is a very important line in my opinion last week. And this is something that's been kind of at the top of mind for me that I don't think I've done a very good job of articulating when talking about kind of the macroeconomic storm at hand. And it's just unemployment. It's the rate of unemployment. It's the jobless claims that are still terrible. Like unemployment rates are still staggeringly bad, which from an economic and productivity just base layer perspective, just from a common sense perspective, is a terrible sign. So this, and it's hard to, it's even now that I'm talking about it, it's a little hard to articulate kind of my precise thoughts around why exactly this unemployment crisis will directly impact the markets. But I hope you guys can understand just the gripe there and just how this kind of, it's just off. It feels off. I'm going to leave that one there. But again, you guys, this is just one of many dark stars that are aligning in my mind personally that lead me to believe that things are topping out. Just things keep going up. The market keeps hitting new all-time highs. They did just announce once again that although a bit vague, they are going to begin tapering asset purchases, which is ultimately good for the dollar and bad for assets like equities and pretty much everything else. Equities, commodities, everything that the Fed has been buying, has been purchasing with the money they've been printing is inevitably going to slow down. And once again, the market is pricing that in. Now that there is confirmation that, hey, it's not tomorrow, it's not the next day, maybe it's not even a couple months from now. Maybe it's a few months from here. Maybe it's a few months from now. Maybe it's a half a year from now, but it's coming. And the market is likely to price that in. All the fundamental headwinds, I should say, because they're pushing it back. The fundamental headwinds along with the current technicals on the S&P 500, which again, in my opinion, is the best reflection of the U.S. equity markets, is not looking good. And that's why I'm still bearish. So I have covered this the past 3 days. So I'll keep this one quick and then kind of put more of the focus on the technicals and just kind of trading psychology overall on VIXY, root, and LCID. Okay, so S&P 500 textbook dead cat bounce today, you guys. I mean, we saw a little bit of a dead cat bounce yesterday, but this I think is the real dead cat bounce. Dead cat bounce, obviously, after a sharp move down, the harder you fall, the harder you bounce. Just drop a bouncy ball. It's going to bounce back up. The higher you drop it from, the higher it's going to bounce. This for the S&P was, as we discussed the other day, the worst move that the S&P 500 has seen since May. So worst move since May. Obviously, again, harder you fall, the harder you bounce. We are seeing a 2-day bounce. My money is still on the fact. I always know you guys, my money is where my mouth is. Could be wrong on this. This is just my opinion, but I did. Shout out Portfolio Newsletter Group as well. Said this morning. If we do close the week green, I will accept my loss because that's just the game sometimes, and that's okay. But right now, with all the information that I have at hand, just playing the odds that I've set in my mind personally, I'm still short the market. I'm short crypto, even though crypto is bouncing pretty prettily today. I'm still short the markets. I'm still a bear on the equity and crypto markets. Okay, so again, classic dead cat bounce today. Maybe we come up here, test the previous line of support on the short term, kind of just a short term uptrend right here, this orange line. But in all honesty, you guys, I don't think we make it much further above that, and I do think this will not inevitably, but ultimately just be looked back at as a classic dead cat bounce. And I do think more downside is ahead from current levels. My downside price target in the very short term, like before we close out this month, is going to be about another 4.5% down from where we're at now at 437. Okay, so if we do continue to fall from there, of course we will cross that bridge when we come to it. But for now, just know I'm bearish on the S&P, therefore I am bullish on good old VIXY. Okay, so let's take a good look at VIXY. Again, you can see how this really does track volatility, right? So VIXY did see a massive move up and a really nice spike in volume on Tuesday as the markets Monday as the markets crumbled. Over the past couple of days, it's tapered off because the markets have gone flat. Okay, so VIXY likes significant moves. Okay, again, it's inversely correlated to the S&P, so it does the opposite of the S&P 500. So VIXY, this, as many of you guys know, is the play, is almost a direct hedge. And I did mention this the other day as well. I always encourage you guys, even if you're bullish on the market, it's always smart to have just a little bit of VIXY during times of uncertainty, just to hedge your portfolio. Just because, okay, so let's do this. Just on Monday, if you just had 10% of your portfolio in VIXY on Friday, even if you're bullish on the markets, just 10% of your portfolio in VIXY on Friday, on Monday, when I can guarantee the majority of your portfolio tanked because everything except for Lucid was in the red, VIXY was up. Why is that? Damn it, that thing's in the way. Can't see. So I think we're on 4 hours. Okay, right there. We'll just do that right there. So VIXY was up almost 30%, and then UVXY, the other one that I mentioned, was up even more. Okay, so VIXY saw a crazy price increase on Monday, and again, it's because it's directly correlated to the volatility within the S&P. No, sorry, I'm sorry. That's so messed up. Okay, no, okay. All right, yeah, 28% up. I don't know, you guys, but it was up significantly. And if you had just 10% of your portfolio in VIXY on Monday, it would have saved you some significant losses. I can't say you would have been in the green, but it definitely would have saved you some money and blunted, just blunted the blow to your portfolio on a day like Monday. So it's always important, again, even if you're bullish on the markets, to have a little bit of VIXY as literally just as a hedge. In the case that we do see a little short-term black swan play out like what happened on Monday, definitely not really a black swan. That was, what, a couple percent down, which isn't even that bad. But for what we've been seeing, again, all new all-time highs in the equity markets every other day, that was pretty scary to most investors. And again, I still think that there is residual fear in the air after seeing the price action that played out today. There is general uncertainty, and I will just say right now that VIXY tanked today. Again, you can see it closed the day down over 5.5%, and I took that opportunity to zig when everyone else zagged. Again, after Powell's words, the market felt bullish. Investors are thinking other investors feel bullish, and just based on the technicals we covered, and again, the fundamental headwinds at hand, I still remain very, very bearish on the equity markets, and therefore I capitalized on the opportunity and picked up some VIXY. All right, so let's move on to ROOT. You guys, talk some root. It's been a while. I see a lot of you guys commenting in regard to root, and therefore I want to keep you guys posted. But again, if you guys do want daily updates on this, that's in the newsletter. Root is a very exciting play. Been a little slow lately, but I do think that, if there's a day for root to pop off, in all honesty, it's tomorrow, so let's keep our fingers crossed, all right? So root is at the very pinnacle, at the apex of this descending triangle. 4-hour Stochs just starting to curl up. I love that we closed out the day up 4.7%, had that nice move right as we were closing out the trading day. And we are just about, if root straight up right now sees green tomorrow, that we will have successfully broken out of this descending triangle. You guys know that this is not a bull flag, but it is a similar pattern that I've coined the two-wave pattern. That is when you see a parabolic move up, and that parabolic move up is the base of a descending triangle, creating somewhat of a bull flaggy pattern, but it definitely resolves itself as a bull flag a decent percentage of the time from what I've expected. Okay, I spent a lot of my career playing bubbles, playing hype cycles, and this is a very commonly seen pattern in hype cycles. The volume is a little lacking from where we were back here, but it's still looking pretty good. It's still good historically, and again, in an environment where I am bearish on the equity markets, I'm bearish on many sectors, unfortunately. I am still bullish on plays like this, on kind of the hype plays, on again the Reddit stocks, which is a little counterintuitive because today we saw bbig, EMC, some of those plays were in the red, but that, again, the fact that root was in the green today while bbig, some of those other plays were in the red, and the fact that root is in the green when those plays are in the green as well, and the market's in the red, just those factors lead me to believe that root, obviously, you guys know that root is primarily a short squeeze play, kind of a cool company itself with bounce potential. But primarily, it is a short squeeze play. There is high levels of short interest on the stock. And in a market where everything is going down, the shorts are really battening down the hatches. There is that much more potential for the short squeeze, okay? So root's still a very, very attractive play to me from multiple angles. And once again, if we see green today, very excited about that. ZIG when they zag, there's not much I can tie in here aside from buying the dip, I guess. Just buying the dip if you believe in something for the long haul, not even the long haul. This is kind of the short to medium term in this case. But if you believe in something if you have bullish sentiment around something and you say there's a pullback like this, especially in a clean of a descending channel as this, basing out right around here beautifully, that's a good time to buy. And that is also an example of zigging when they zag. There were calls loaded up on calls over the past couple of days. Some root calls I have at the moment seems so cheap. So I'm super excited about what can potentially go down with those. If this plays out as I anticipated to, those will prove to be extremely lucrative. So let's hope root performs, and let me know down below if you guys have a baggie of root at the moment as well. Okay, so that's root. Let's close it out with LCID. This was a good example of a pretty perfect exit in my perspective, from my trading perspective, if this ever loads. Man, it's just an off day today, you guys. I'm like getting sick. I'm all sweaty, kind of stumbling over my words, so I apologize for that. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I was excited to make it. Actually, again, this has been something that's why is this not loading? Why is my Wi-Fi trash, dude? It's like a beautiful day. It's like not even stormy or anything. I know that I mean, that's an easy excuse for the Wi-Fi bugging out, but this is straight up not even loading. Dude, do I have to connect to my hotspot right now? Okay. All right, well, that loaded. Okay. Well, let's take a breather, you guys. Just enjoy the view. But anyway, Lucid has seen a significant run up over the past few days. You guys know that, following the news of the Lucid Air. The Lucid Air having a longer range than the Tesla, which is huge. And I wish I caught that sooner. I was saying this the last time we covered Lucid. I wish I had caught the news on Lucid a little sooner. I wish I saw the breakout. Like, it's so obvious in retrospect, but of course everything's 2020 in retrospect. Regardless, still established. I've held a position in Lucid for a long time. You guys know that, but I did significantly increase my Lucid position size a few days back prior to the big run up we saw, which was nice. But yesterday is when you could tell, evidently, things were getting super overextended. Again, on Monday, why isn't this loading? This is infuriating, you guys. Okay, root, still Lucid up there. Oh man, it's like my phone's charging way over there, and I don't really want to go grab it, connect to my hotspot. Okay, finally, thank you. I mean, I'm still pissed, but I guess thank you. Anyway, so Lucid again. As you guys will know what I'm talking about right here. So Lucid broke out of this pretty significant descent, just downtrend has been in. Significant line of resistance right here. You can see this day is where Lucid released that press release they had in regard to the Lucid Air, which is their luxury. Pretty much, it's like their version of kind of like the Model X, I guess. They're just targeting the luxury market, but their Lucid Air, their electric vehicle, has the longest range in the game, even surpassing that of Tesla's, which is, I mean, definitely, again, I wish I caught that. It seems so obvious in retrospect, but I didn't. But I did significantly add to my position around this area right here, probably around like 21, 22 bucks. Saw a significant run up. Again, Lucid, in the wake of the greater market volatility on Monday, performed beautifully. Again, it was the only name on my watch list, once again, aside from VIXY and UVXY, that performed beautifully. And that was reflected in Tuesday's price action as well. Tuesday was kind of a slow, volatile day, choppy day for the markets overall. Lucid was up significantly. Lucid skyrocketed. So just in September 20th. Let's see how much Lucid went up price range wise. So we gapped up right. Let's go from right there, the base of that candle, to the top. So Lucid, in the span of 2 days, was up 30%. Very, very impressive price action. And when you see something parabolic, like going parabolic like this, in a market environment that is sus, that is sketch, this is the exact, like this is the perfect time where I was like, okay, parabolic price action like this in a sketchy macro environment, this is the perfect time to take profits, okay? And I probably took profits around like 27 bucks. It went up to just over 28, but I'll gladly take an exit at 27 bucks from where I entered around 21, 22. Okay, and that's a great short-term trade. Not the biggest short-term trader. You guys know I'm a more long-term swing trader. But when I see parabolic price action like this, once again, in a sus market environment, I think that a big reason, this plays back into the market psychology, once again, trying to be one step ahead of your opponent, because there's always a winner and loser on each side of a trade. Always keep that in mind, okay? In this environment, when people were seeing red across their watch list and they saw that little splash of green that is Lucid, that got them excited, when people's portfolios are bleeding and there's one name in your portfolio that is in the green, people are going to be like, I got to jump on that because that's the saving grace. That's the lifeboat. So that's how I kind of wanted to tie that market psychology, again, zigging when they zag, into the equation. Obviously caught this one at a good time, but that was, if any decent trader who's keeping an eye on Lucid would have caught that. The fundamentals and technicals were on this side. I wish I caught it earlier. Apologize to the subscribers, the newsletter subscribers, for not. But I know a lot of you were eating good off that. Shout out to the Discord as well. I know a lot of you guys were playing Lucid, so congrats to you guys if you were. If you caught it like if you got it down around like 19 bucks, awesome gains. But again, in the wake of market volatility, market downside, I should say, like market carnage, bloody markets, the fact that Lucid was going parabolic showed me, at least told me, this is just my opinion, you guys, but I feel like there has to be some objective truth to this. When people are fearful, that's when you act emotionally, right? When you're bleeding out, when your portfolio is bleeding out, when every single position in your portfolio is red, and then there is a little speck of light in there that is Lucid and it's in the green, you'll probably liquidate some of your other positions out of fear and then emotionally buy Lucid. Okay, so that's what I think happened. I feel like that's pretty evident in what we saw today. Closed the day down 7%, at one point down, just looking at it, close to 9%. Actually perfectly touched my downside target that I talked about the other day, or talked about in the newsletter. But I drew this, you guys, set this downside price target, closed the gap here, so it's nice it's always nice to see that. And maybe we keep going up here. Lucid definitely has longer term potential, but again, you guys, just keep that in mind. That market psychology, once again, is kind of just what I want to talk about here when you guys are thinking about trading in this environment, because right now things are getting emotional. Things are just, you can just feel the fear, you can feel the volatility, you can feel kind of the lack of rationale in this current environment. And that's when, once again, you have to incorporate that level of psychology, being one step of your opponent, or at least doing your best to do so with the data that you've accumulated over your time. Okay, so hope you guys appreciated that one. Again, sorry, you guys a little sick at the moment, a little brain foggy, so I apologize if this one was a little scuffed, but it was pretty fun. It was fun to record. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Regardless, I will try to rest up and be back in full health tomorrow for a crypto-related video. Talk some Bitcoin, Ethereum, some Bitcoin miners as well. So I'll catch you guys on tomorrow. Hope you all have a great day. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the comments. Until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace, guys.